Good afternoon. I may say something that you shouldn't invest on, so forward-looking. A little bit of history about Renaissance Gold. We incorporated in 2010 and began trading on the TSX in the same year. Renaissance was created as a spin-off of AuEx Ventures, which was a very successful junior company that got involved in the Long Canyon discovery. Our main focus is in the western U.S., mostly in Nevada. We're a prospect generator focused on precious metals and primarily use a joint venture business model. So we do as best we can to have outside companies invest in our projects, and that allows us to leverage our risk and leverage our burn. The company and its predecessors since 2010 have entered into, or since 2004, have entered into over 70 exploration agreements. That includes AuEx, Renaissance, and Kinetic, which was merged into Renaissance last year. So what do we do? Most of you know this, so I'll go quickly through this to stay to my 10 minutes. We're an exploration stage company. We kind of do the research and development arm of mining. We generate the ideas that could become the next exploration projects and hopefully become the next mine. As I said, we minimize our risk by attracting exploration by partners. We minimize dilution by hopefully not going back to market on a regular basis. And we operate a pipeline of projects. We don't have all our eggs in one basket. We really try to maximize the chances of discovery by testing as many projects as we can year after year. And what this model does is it creates pretty significant opportunities for investors to create significant to extreme share appreciation. And an example shown in this picture, that's a picture of Long Canyon. It's now an open pit mine operated by Newmont, and our predecessor company did very well, and all the shareholders did very well in that deal. So we're trying to repeat that success on another project. Many of you have seen this diagram, but it basically points out, I don't think I have a pointer, but where the red circle is the prospect generator sweet spot. We're trying to create value for shareholders by discovery. So in the early stage of the evolution of a project, there can be a very large, meaningful bump in the market, and that's the goal that we seek to achieve again. Just a few words about our team. We have a very, very seasoned board and senior management. Many of us have been involved in discoveries in the past, and we think that that's a good metric for knowing what one looks like early and being able to do it again. So I always like to give kudos to the team. I don't do this by myself. The exploration team in particular, these are the boots on the ground people. We're very geologically oriented. Our whole staff is geologists. The only person on that slide who's not a geologist is our bookkeeper. Anyway, lower right. So always like to give kudos to the team because it couldn't be done without them. So to get to what's going on now, coming out of a really bad market, and I like to think we're coming out of it. It's still a little bit soft, but in the last couple of years, it's been a very transformational period for the company. We've gotten a lot of business done, which for us is a good metric that the market is improving. Exploration alliance with Coeur brought in money for generative exploration in focused areas for 2 years, still ongoing. We got a couple of private placements done, one with Coeur as part of that alliance and another one with Kinross associated with 3 joint ventures. In May of last year, we completed a $3.1 million financing, and in the last year and a half to 2 years, we've completed 12 new property deals that also brought in some money to the company. You can see the list of companies there, large companies such as Kinross, Anglo Gold, and most recently, just announced last week, we announced 2 new deals with Hochschild Mining. So in the last couple of years, 12 drill programs completed, testing 9 projects, and 3 of those were follow-up programs, which indicates early stage encouragement and funding to go back for a second round of drilling. So currently our portfolio looks like this. I don't know if that is easily visible, but we've got 21 projects in the portfolio, and if you can make out on the map, the ones that are highlighted in yellow are currently in deals being funded by partners. The ones that are green are currently available, and I'm here and we do what we do to market and find other partners to fund these projects. So you can see currently 11 Carlin projects, which is the big elephants in Nevada, 8 epithermals. There's a large market and level of interest for epithermal projects. So we continue to keep a portfolio of those, which are also really nice discovery opportunities. So currently 6 agreements, property agreements, and still the 1 generative agreement with Coeur, which puts us in a pretty good space for executing our model in the interest of finding the next discovery. So what happened last year? I titled this Partners Money at Work. You can see a list of projects. AngloGold's got an option on our Silicon project. They drilled 6 core holes in the spring, had enough encouragement to come back, and they're currently in the middle of a 17,000 meter follow-up program. The nature of that deal doesn't require them to release data to us, but if you read between the lines, they made the option payment last June. There's annual option payments that are increasing every year, and a large follow-up program. So we anticipate that there's a fair bit of encouragement going on there. That's in the district next to Corvus Gold and their Mother Lode project, and now Coeur Mining on their Sterling project. So it's probably the most active district outside of the Northern Nevada, Carlin, and Cortez trends. So we're excited to be involved in that, and that story is forthcoming. S2 Resources, a partner that came in a year and a half ago on Option 3 projects, drilled South Roberts earlier this year, 3 core holes. They gave that one back to us. The asterisks I have up there show that some of these projects do come back. That's part of the process. We want to test as many projects as we can. Some of them turn over, and that's part of what we do. So the turnover is so that we continually have new and exciting opportunities and continue to sort of play the numbers game in terms of testing as many targets as we can, because it takes a number of targets before one of them is going to become the discovery that all our shareholders are waiting impatiently for. Kinross was involved in Spruce East. This year they came back with a second follow-up program on Spruce East project. They drilled 9 holes and also gave the project back to us. So it's not a failure when these projects come back. It's just part of the process that we go through as a prospect generator. Ramelius Resources, another Australian producer company, they've drilled 2 programs on our Jupiter project. Last year they drilled 7 RC holes. Got some modest encouragement on the follow-up. We had an intercept in the first year of over 1 gram in one of the holes. They're planning to come back. I haven't heard any different for a third program this year, so stay tuned on that. S2 Resources on Ecru, we just finished a 2 deep core holes in the Cortez area, just completed, so the news on that will be coming out in the coming weeks. And so just as a summary, so our partners have funded 27 holes, more than 8,500 meters of drilling, and in addition, there's a little asterisk by the Anglo project. The 17,000 meters wasn't included in that. That probably encompasses an additional 40 holes being drilled through late last year and into this spring by Anglo. So we're executing at a high level, getting a lot of our projects funded and drilled by partners. This translates into a significant expenditure by our partners, and I won't read the numbers to you except for the totals. So in Canadian dollars, our partner total for 2018 was over $7 million spent on our projects. Compared to what our burn is, they're spending about 4 times our burn, so we feel that's a really, really good level to be operating at as a prospect generator and is maximizing the chances for us to raise the probabilities of discovery. So you can see total spent in 18 was over 9 million Canadian, and less than 2 million of that was spent out of our treasury. So plans for 19, we expect this level of activity to stay ongoing. Silicon will continue with AngloGold. I've already mentioned that project, which should finish up in April or so. It's Southern Nevada. They prefer to drill that during the winter when it's not 140 degrees. S2 just finished up Ecru, so I have it under ongoing. It just finished a couple of days ago. And then 4 other deals that are drilling is in the future. J Creek on Ginguro, that's a low sulfidation epithermal. I mentioned Jupiter already, and Ferguson Mountain and Mars are the deals we just announced on last Thursday with Hochschild. And this will change. There's more property deals in the pipe, so again, our level of activity is very healthy, and I think it's a story worth watching. Just a few words on Silicon and one other project. This is a map of the Bear Mountains district. The red box is our Silicon project. You can see we're just north of Coeur's Sterling project, and we're just to the south and east of North Bullfrog and Mother Lode. So it's a very, very busy district. We're happy to be in the middle of it, and I think there's going to be some interesting news coming out of that in the future for us. Ecru is the one we just finished, and this is a map showing part of the Cortez trend. We're looking at the big yellow outline is the Robertson property, recently acquired by Barrick from Coral Gold. And we're on the Cortez trend, so we're looking at Pipeline, Gold Acres, Cortez Hills, and then to the south is 4 Mile and Gold Rush and the other Barrick discoveries. So we're in the heart of elephant country, and we have a partner that's willing to come in here and drill some deep holes to test these targets. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Just a bit on the share structure. You can read it for yourselves. 62 million shares out. We do our best to keep the share structure tight. When I finished this, before I flew up here, we were trading at 19 cents. Pretty close to a 52-week low. Typical of the market and the curve that the last speaker showed all of you. I mean, the market's been soft, but we're doing our work and we're keeping the probabilities up. And it only takes one project and one drill hole to really turn this around and create a lot of opportunity for the company and for shareholders. Cash position is still pretty healthy. As of the last publicly released number, it was 3.6. Sorry, the Canadian, that's Canadian. We've been spending, that's a quarter old, so it's probably just dipped around $3 million at this point, so we're still in good shape in that regard. So what's the value drivers for us? Strong deal flow, 2 recent ones and more in the pipe. Healthy drilling profile. We're testing a lot of targets. We anticipate a similar level of activity for 2019, and we keep our generative programs going because we feel it's really, really important to continue to have fresh targets with real opportunities for discovery. And I want to thank you for coming. I'm sorry the room emptied out, but I'm glad you guys stayed. And this is a picture of our Silicon project in Nye County. Thank you.